Assault vest means I can't max guard. Yeah,
All
once
right.
we actually start and once everybody's in here and everything, then I'll be more quiet and then we'll
No, it's cool. Chris actually says it's gonna be a little bit late, so it'll probably just be us popping off. We can start whenever you're ready then.
all right. Hell, where do we start, dude? There's a lot to go off of.
All right. Well, you know what? I think we're freaking good. Let's go ahead.
Awesome.
Hello. How goes it, guys and gals? Episode 2 of the Hitstun podcast. We're going to be talking about fighting game, like game design. Pretty much what makes a game good, all the good stuff that goes into it, and what makes it bad. That's kind of what we talked about last week, but now we're going to be talking about the nitty gritty and everything. Sort of like the concept of neutral decision making, whatnot, and how game developers approach these topics and expand upon them within the game itself. So we have, as always, for some reason the Discord ain't showing your name. Let me get that up here. Hold on, there we go. No, we're chilling. There it is.
Okay, it might streamer mode,
No. We got the boy Momo Ari. You guys want to peep his Twitch? He be streaming on there now. Play some good old Marvel, some League every now and then.
Actually, see, he's for a chill podcast like this. I'm actually just playing. Pokemon.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I guess he's a FGC streamer, but variety streamer. You know, if you guys ever on Twitch want to peep him at some point, be sure to look them up. But I want to pick your brain a bit. I want to pick your brain again. So the first thing that comes to mind whenever I think about like fighting games, off top, is just like the mind games. I think that's sort of the thing with fighting games that are kind of different than most other games. Like in first-person shooters and whatnot, there obviously are mind games and like positioning and reaction times and all that stuff. But the mind games in like first-person shooters, they apply themselves differently. When you take a game like, for instance, let's just say like Guilty Gear, right? There's so many mechanics and just so many different things that you have at your disposal, like at all times, that it creates a situation where in which you're constantly like battling your opponent's mind. I think fighting games have like a really unique way of sort of demonstrating that, and
they really do. So it's funny you mentioned like shooting games because there's stuff like Rainbow Six Siege where your strategy is based around like if you're on attack or defense and how you're gonna roam and how you're gonna set up. And it's just like you're playing with your team in that sense. Even if you're playing by yourself, you have to worry about like, okay, do I think somebody's gonna spawn peek me? Do I think that I need to follow my team or go with the hard breacher, choose my character and all that stuff? And the strategy behind like the shooting games and in general for shooting games, it's mainly about placement, like where you are. Relative to where your opponent is. But in fighting games, it's a lot different because you're saying like just like in Guilty Gear specifically, there's multiple types of there's multiple mechanics that allow you to be an offensive threat or defensive terror.
Yeah, like the main one is pretty much like Roman cancel, right? How you can hit a button on block, right? Roman cancel, you're safe. Or freaking Kai Kisuke classic, right? Lightning, freaking bolt, Roman cancel, Spire Siege, just like run in, dude. Like, and so you can force so many situations where in which your opponent has to either react like immediately or they have to already know like, okay, this is a setup that you're going for. And so it just constantly forces mind games like that. And playing off of the Guilty Gear analogy, something that I wanted to talk about was the idea of like bursting out of combos. Now, originally people, or like I guess like at first glance, people might be thinking it's sort of like a noob-friendly mechanic, just as a get-off-me tool. But I know in Guilty Gear, there's like so many different applications of just using the bursts and then like baiting bursts and stuff like that, or using your burst early to get it back later on in the match. And that idea is sort of what Killer Instinct, at least the I didn't play too much of like the original like OG Killer Instinct, but I know combo breakers were obviously in that game, but Killer Instinct itself is kind of based upon this concept of bursting out of combos, and the mind game happens at all times. Like even whenever you're playing even whenever you're executing your combo, you're making constant decisions about the combo route that you're doing. Otherwise, your opponent is going to combo break, get out of there.
Yeah.
Is that Shrimpy? Oh, Shrimpy's here.
Hey,
nice. And that's the thing about like stuff like that. So burst is a really good mechanic. In my eyes, burst is a necessary mechanic. Just because it gives your opponent something to think about. It gives yourself a way to reset and give yourself that final chance. It'll also give yourself like a way to how would I say it? Not just reset neutral, but also apply pressure in no situations, right?
Yeah. Shrimpy, you got anything you want to add? By the way, guys, follow
I think
your boy Shrimpy on any socials. You got the Twitter, you out there making art. I see you.
I do often draw things. I don't know if I'd go so far as to call burst a necessary mechanic, but I do think overall it's generally a good thing to have as long as you implement it well. I think a game that I don't respect the implementation of is BB tag.
Okay.
I don't like the way BB tag does it.
See, I'm not familiar too much with that. How does it really apply in that game?
So BB tag, your hits do a lot of damage, and you can get long combos. So you get like really fucking like powerful combos. You like probably do like anywhere from like 50 to 80% off of like, I'm not gonna say basic combos, but like it's not hard to do, right?
Yeah.
So as a result of this, burst also builds really fast. And as I'm not great at BB tags, so I can't say this for sure, but it feels like it's something that like you can't really punish when people do.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think it ends up like cutting out a lot of fun because you can't get a lot of your long combos unless you punish them for doing like switches and stuff. Because if they do switches and you hit them out of it, or like you hit them out of a DP, it locks them out of the ability to burst. So like there's some thought put into that, but I think overall it just ends up being kind of more like mildly irritating than a positive game experience. Have you played a lot of BB tag, Momo?
I actually haven't. So my experience with BB tag is that I originally played it with a friend who was really into it.
That's how I got into it.
But when I actually like started playing, it was more to the fact that it just didn't click with me, so I just never actually kept playing.
Understandable.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't go as far as to say that it as a thing is essential, but like the concept of it, I feel is very important to like making a fighting game both consistent and fun to play. So like it doesn't have to be like, oh, I hit these buttons and you automatically get off me. It can be just like systems that either reset the game to neutral while also or not necessarily that it resets the game to neutral, but it encourages constant thought between both players, right? Because
the problem in a lot of fighting games is that once you're in a combo, there's no thinking. It's just muscle memory and holding your tech button.
Something that I absolutely like, now that you bring it up, something that kind of goes with that is one of the games I was gonna mention is Skullgirls.
Yeah, Mike
they implement it so freaking perfectly. To where it originally just started off as IPS, Infinite Protection System, but now it's turned the game into like bait the burst, get the reset, get the kill, and burst in that regard is still good. It's still healthy for the game because it gives you a chance to say, okay, is this a setup or can I burst out of this? Or did they just mess up combo?
Yeah.
And the reason I think burst is necessary in each game, in every game, is mainly because it's that comeback factor.
Comeback factors. We could have a whole thing about those. Anyway,
Street Fighter V has its own freaking oh well, I'm gonna do this, this, and this for alpha counter, not alpha counter. Well, what am I talking about?
Alpha counter in
trigger.
SF5. Let's go.
I mean, it has to be reversal. I mean,
Yeah,
good enough.
I mean, yeah. No, but yeah, I think so. The idea of like in constant engagement between the players is something that Killer Instinct did like really good, where it's constant thought about how you're going to structure your combo routes in order to not get combo broken. And I think that is why people kind of have this idea of neutral being, the most like best part of the fighting game. Oh, I want my game to be just super neutral heavy, right? It's because neutral is like essentially that, but like at its core, where it's like, okay, how is my opponent wanting to get in? He's playing this character. I know he wants this button, at this range. I can play footsies around here. So like that's kind of essentially what neutral is. But I don't think people really take it a step further and think about, a good fighting game that has like a lot of depth to it, a lot of times will have that sort of concept, but embedded in multiple different layers of the game itself. And so that's, I think, where a lot of replayability comes in and whatnot. And a game that comes to mind is, for me anyways, is Sam Show. I didn't play too much of Sam Show. Maybe I didn't give it an honest chance. I played it and just, I don't know, something about it. Something about the offense didn't feel satisfying to me. And Momo, I know that you played it at least a decent amount more than me. Oh, you do? Okay.
I still play it now.
Could you tell me a bit about like what that game is like the offense versus like defense? Like how is it structured?
So Sam Show, I is no joke. Like it's just a very neutral, heavy based game, right? It is one of the games that you can't just like go in and force an interaction. It is one of the things where instead of thinking about what you're supposed to do, you have to think about every little thing. So if your opponent is in the air, you have to know your options because of the of what they could do, what your opponent could do and what they have access to. And it's mainly to the point where a lot of
so
okay, hold on. I'm off topic.
Okay,
here.
No, we're chilling. I'm just wondering, you good?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say
I missed the hair.
What did you do?
Oh, nothing. I cut my roommate's hairs where I was. I missed the hair. He came in asking about it.
Oh, well.
Like a hair.
A hair. So Sam Show is a game where it's all about the neutral, and it's less about
like
getting the hit,
or
more about how you get the hit.
Okay,
right?
I see.
It's finding the openings, the offensive options. There's plenty of them. You have your so like in Sam Show, and if you hit a heavy button, medium or heavy, you have recoil, right? It leaves you open, but you can cancel that recoil with a special. Catch your opponent off guard. There's things like that, and for defense, if you do like a perfect guard, you can basically push your opponent away, put them on the ground, and literally reset the situation. I think one of the biggest tools in Sam Show that make it to where it's kind of like the make or break of the game is the burst. So
okay.
In Sam Show, you have your burst. Yeah, I know, right? You have a burst which unlocks your lightning flash, which does a huge chunk of damage based on how much burst you have left. So when you burst, it stops the timer. Your damage gets increased. You have access to one new move, and you also have access to a weapon clipping technique, which if you hit your WFT, then your opponent's weapon is gone until they are able to pick it back up. But keep them, it's basically, hey, I need to turn this around, right?
Yeah.
But the thing I like about it is that you only get that burst once for the match. You can't get more, right? And I think that's
That's like where a lot of the
perfectly
mind
implemented.
games comes in, huh? Where it's like, well, like when are you going to use your lifeline type of thing, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I think for me, what I didn't really like too much about Sam's show is, as I started to like branch out and play more fighting games, I realized that I love Oki characters, and I love Oki characters because it's like it forces decision making while I'm applying pressure. So, bless you, by the way. But
Sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. No, but so like, even when I get my hit, or even outside of neutral, it's not like decision making ends there. It's like, okay, now here comes Oki. They're on the back foot. I get to decide, and we have like a guessing game. For instance, right here, Grand Blue. I play Fairy. I'm not gonna lie, I hate playing against Fairy. She's super obnoxious. I'm not gonna front. The freaking whip is the most like oppressive thing to feel out in neutral. It feels pretty good to play as her because you just get to control the pace of the match. And then, you get your hard knockdown, your 2U into GG setups, and then it's just like, all right, now hold this mix up, and it's just constantly hold this mix up. And same way I play Milia in Guilty Gear, so that sort of idea of forcing decision making in multiple different points of the game is what I really enjoy, not just leaving it only in neutral. Chris, do you have anything like to add about this, the whole concept of like decision making in fighting games and how neutral
I don't
kind
think
of
I have much to add to this particular section, honestly.
All right, that's cool. Now I want to talk about you mentioned something about like comeback mechanics. I instantly thought about level 3 X Factor. Oh man.
So there's so many things like that where they do exist, it's a thing. Like you have to you have to be careful of it because it will get you killed. So comeback factors, they don't have to be as bad as X Factor level 3. They don't have
They
to.
really don't. I don't know.
Definitely be balanced, like Dragon Ball Fighter Spark.
Honestly, I feel like Spark
I
is one of-
love Dragon Ball Fighter Spark.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't feel like that is actually like too like egregious when it comes to like being a comeback factor. Even though it can kind of swing matches, you still have to execute, right? You still have to. It's not like you're gonna get like one Doom foot dive loop and just like kill the team.
Exactly.
So
But it opens up the door for you, right?
Yeah.
So it says, here you go. It's ready for you. All you have to do is perform. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. How much of Fighters have you actually played, Chris? Because I know you got it on PC.
I probably have less than 100 hours in it, but I've watched a ton of tournament footage and shit, especially when it came out. I'm less familiar with a lot of it in the modern day with a lot of the changes that have been made, but
yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with it too much, and that's something too like that Fighters has been doing to I guess address some of its problems. I know it's been a little bit now, but they made some like gameplay tweaks where to like you could cancel everything into or any light attack into like a grab or whatever.
Yeah, so they added oh goodness, I'm not killing you. They added in basically a way to tick grab, tick throw.
Yeah.
The only problem with it though is that there's a huge shift in how that basically changed the huge shift of neutral and how you approach it.
I would say from what I gathered, again, I didn't play Dragon Ball like a high level. My main game is like Grand Blue and I guess technically Ultimate, but like Dragon Rush, I know a lot of people didn't really sit too well with. So it's kind of like you either love Dragon Rush or you hate it because it's like it's both a really good mechanic, but it's also like really bad because you can just get 2H and then you die. I'm not sure how like that change affected like the whole Dragon Rush meta or whatever, if there even really was such a meta that existed.
No, I got you.
wouldn't really call it a meta. It's just a good, interesting option that Fighters has that has plenty of counters.
It's an option that not many people well, that before not many people really used, so they really didn't. There was no reason to do it.
I
But
didn't.
now
Or what?
well, there was a reason to do it, is to open up people like Goichi, who a block demon, a guard demon, and it's now to the point where you basically need I need to win the speed time, sorry. It's now it's where you basically need to watch out for stuff like that, you need to watch out for more things. You need to become a better player.
So I guess it kind of inadvertently makes Dragon Rush a little bit better. I don't know, because like when I played fighters, it didn't seem like Dragon Rush was like something you wanted to just freaking use in neutral like at all. Maybe with like an assist or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe it's just like the freaking the low tier boys on Reddit or whatever. I just remember hearing a lot of people just complaining about it. I'm not too sure exactly what the issue with it was, or
I think the problem with Dragon Rush back in the day was that, I guess for a lot of people, especially like the newer players and the players that really didn't have all too much experience, I guess, with the game, is that whenever you hit Dragon Rush, well, that was it.
Yeah,
well,
you're locked in. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can't get your big damage. You just have to get this one air combo, and that's it.
Ooh, Will is here. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no problem. Hey, oh goodness, it's Soro, aka GJA, aka Will.
All right, moving him over here.
As you keep going into like your combo strings and like getting your extensions down, you'll learn that Dragon Rush is a necessary part of the game. Like there has to be a way to open up somebody who's blocking.
Yeah.
That is how you do it.
I think Beam Assist Dragon Rush is something that's just conceptually seems like it'd be a lot better now. It's like the different tags that they added in, the different assist options.
A, B, and C assists. The quote unquote Marvel assists.
Yeah. Yo, Mr. Will.
Hello.
Or Soro. Let's just say, don't get. What's up?
How
you feeling? How you feeling? Talking about game design. We covered a few things already. The basic idea is just like, I think what makes fighting games so good is the fact that there's decision making pretty much on every level, from start to finish. You're constantly battling against your opponent's mind in a way that like first person shooters and other like action games don't really have. So we kind of talked about burst and whatnot, and the fact that Killer Instinct in a way is sort of a game that's based off of the burst mechanic, where it's like, how am I going to structure my combos so I don't get combo broken, was kind of the idea that we started off with. So right off the rip, do you have anything you kind of want to add to that kind of line of thinking, the idea of like burst and like decision making and whatnot?
I mean, Marvel Infinite,
although
it was not really received well, and I am on that boat of it wasn't really as optimal as what it was. Like it had so many things that it had built on in terms of that, like even with its combo heavy structure, if you built up enough meter.
Oh, super into tag, raw tag, dude, let's go.
Well, no, not just that, but like, if you're being comboed, you can spend your meter and you can bring out that second person to stop all of that whole big combo string that you saw back in Marvel 3. And that was great.
That was an amazing mechanic. Like the game, I'll say it now, I'll say it every single time. Marvel Infinite is not a bad game.
Dude, Marvel Infinite is actually really solid.
It is just horrible to look at.
I played it for like maybe an hour the other day for like the first time in like 2 years. I was like, this game isn't so bad, and then it just kept bleeding making my eyes bleed. I was like, all right. By the end of it, I was like, I gotta go back to Marvel 3. I'm sorry.
I mean, like the game, if Hey, like if you toss on the texture pack, it looks great. It's like, dang, man. Could we get that downloaded onto the PS4? Live the game as it were when it needed to live on the initial release? Like, come on.
Yeah.
I think something that I wish would exist as a mechanic is sort of like a combination of what Marvel Infinite and Tekken Tag did. Maybe a bit of what BlazBlue Cross Tag did as well, but again, I didn't play that game too much. It's how you can use your secondary character as a bit of a mix-up, and then also extend combos off of that. So like in normal versus games, you use your assist to extend combos, and then you use your point character to continue the combo extension. But in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and in like Tekken Tag, you start off with your point character, and then mid-combo you can swap to your secondary character and then actually continue the combo that way, and then swap back and forth. You're constantly like, it's kind of like doing Icy's desyncs in a weird way. You're just constantly controlling both of these characters. I love that flow so much. What I pray to God will happen one day is we get a game like that, but with like directional influence. So you have a fighting game where it takes Smash Bros. Influences as well. So if you get a launcher, you're not always maybe going to connect off your 2H into like a jump kick or a jump whatever. You know, you kind of have to read your opponent's DI, and then you can even do like some like frame traps where you do 2H into launcher, and then you tag into your other person, and they have like a command grab or something. So you're covering multiple different options. If they DI this way, then you get command grabbed, but if they don't, then you get your extension off of the 2H. So I feel like taking the idea of directional influence into a traditional fighting game would open up more of those kind of like defensive options and like that constant mind game without having to necessarily implement a burst mechanic or things like that. Like, I think there are just like so many different avenues of approaching that concept that fighting games just haven't really like gone with, that's just kind of like what I'm thinking. How would you guys feel about DI and say like a Street Fighter with DI?
Street Fighter with DI. Geez. I don't think I'd actually like it, honestly.
Street Fighter was like an example. It was just like a traditional like 2D fighter in general with like things like drift. It's like in fighting games, when you jump, you're committed to the direction that you're going in. But so you could actually like fade in and out and whatnot. I feel like that's kind of like a level of a really small addition to a game that would add like a lot of depth to a traditional fighting game that games haven't really experienced with. And I feel like it'd just be kind of fun to see what kind of like defensive options that opened up.
It'd be pretty interesting to see how the combos would change. Mm-hmm. Just from thinking about the velocity or where you would be mm-hmm. on the map, could either extend that combo because you super overcorrected, or would just drop that, seem like it would be like a big drop. That would be pretty interesting. It would be like a forever aerial recovery, kind of like in Guilty Gear, where if you just mash the button and hold a direction, you'd recover in that direction. It'd be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder too, like, so I don't know how much of it we technically could talk about. The game is in alpha, so it's not even, I guess, really close to becoming out. But Rushdown Revolt kind of takes the concept, but like it reverses it. They added in a lot of like traditional fighting game mechanics into a platform fighter, and the biggest one is, again, the burst that they added. You can actually just like burst out of combos. You get once per life. I think it's really cool that they did that, because not only do you have burst, though, you have essentially Roman cancels. It's essentially like a Smash-like game with Roman cancels. So you get that ability to like say, oh, I can convert off of this, and then like FADC or whatever, just like cancel it into this combo. But I have to read the DI or else it's not gonna actually work. I think it's just like really cool.
And before we talk about Rushdown every week until
Dude,
people actually start playing it.
I can't wait for the game to come out. I really can't. It's gonna be so
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of coming out, maybe I should phrase that differently.
Hey. No, we support you, baby.
Slap City. Slap City's officially out now, and I got a new character I want to try.
Hey, let's go.
I didn't think they were gonna add a 9th character. There was like just a shadow drop on their like release trailer.
It's actually I'm kind of glad you mentioned Slap City because that's a game where they were like, what is it called? The not rush.
The clutch. Are you talking about the clutch mechanic?
Yeah, clutch.
Ooh,
mechanic.
I love the clutch mechanic.
See, okay, and this is what I mean by like decision making at like multiple different levels. Imagine if you had the clutch mechanic when the game. Well, you kind of do in Guilty Gear, I guess. It's different, but but in say like I don't know, like Grand Blue or oh god, Tekken. Imagine clutch in Tekken. That'd be so cool. Where you can kind of just like change your momentum or like wave dash into different directions and be reverse and stuff. I feel like there's a lot of things that fighting games can take from like platform fighters, honestly, that would kind of, I think, just make them just be a little bit more spicy, a little bit more spicy.
I mean, it's to
more
be determined,
interesting.
honestly, because like if you try to put platforms in a fighting game,
Well, not platforms. I just mean mechanics, but
okay.
yeah, because the biggest one I like to just think about is like directional influence. I think being able to drift would be just so much fun in a fighting game. You're just hopping around, baiting and punishing and whatnot. I don't know. I think I just have like a freaking this just massive desire to see it because I'm trying to make a fighting game. I just can't.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. I think it'd be really hard to implement DI into something like very close to a traditional fighter. Like Rushdown gets like as close as a platform fighter gets, but it's still very clearly way more platform fighter than traditional.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to say how you'd be able to implement something like that into one of those. You'd have to change up a lot of systems. Like having like DI means you pretty much have to increase the hit stun or combos just won't ever work. And
Yeah. And then that's another point too, is like you'd have to figure out like what your technical combo system is, because if certain moves have more hit stun to compensate for DI, what about like grounded moves? Are you just gonna get like stupid infinites, like just like easy peasy because hit stun's so long?
Pick up infinitely. All right.
Oh yeah, my 5L is an infinite.
oh, that makes me think of like hit stun decay mechanics, which I appreciate existing because there's to prevent like loops and stuff. But I don't like hit stun decay. I think you should have a game that works without it.
Yeah, I think that's like a kind of a hard balance to bring.
I think
but I do
it's
think it'd be-
unintuitive as somebody coming into like a game they've never played to just like find something like that like it's like, oh, it's a loop, but it doesn't actually exist because of hit stun delay and stuff, and it makes the combos more interesting when you can get around that. But at the end of the day, I think games are better off if they're balanced in a way that avoids the loops without just having hit stun decay, and I think DI is something that helps with that.
Yeah, that's kind of. I would agree too. I think it's just like it's hard, to balance the game perfectly. Because then even with his Sunday game, we still find infinites, right? So yeah, I think DI would actually kind of.
And I like how, or I guess it's not like how they actually did it, but like, they kind of just like when you leave a game alone, and this is going into like mechanics now. When you leave a game alone and just focus on everything else about it, you can create a much better game than just saying, oh well, I'm just gonna try to fix everything, right?
I will always bring up For Honor. They fixed that game to death. I mean, it's still functional, it's still good, people still play it, but man, it's like there's a patch. Like, it seems like every week they're still patching it. But what's funny though, right? I booted the game up for the first time. I don't know. My friend, my old doubles partner, right? He had his first kid when we started playing like the game competitively, and now he's on his second kid. and she's grown up, doing stuff cool. And the game's freaking ranked mode is still in beta. I don't understand. Like, I don't know, but they've like updated so much else about the game. But I freaking lost my train of thought for a second. I don't know. I started thinking about For Honor and then just got sidetracked. What was I talking about? What was the last thing you said, Chris?
Talking about DI and Hitstun Decay.
DI Hitstun Decay. Jeez, I cannot remember at all. That's the L. I was actually going somewhere with that statement. No, it's gone. No.
It's not too bad.
Well, I can switch gears a little bit here. Talking about again like tag mechanics, right? I think it's interesting going back to Marvel Infinite, the way that they got rid of assists and then used your actual secondary character as the tag itself. I think I kind of want to see like versus games kind of like do stuff like that more. I think I just have this not hatred for assists, but I feel like assists kind of can like blow up like the neutral game in certain situations where it's just like, all right, baby, you gotta block. You have to block. I don't know. How do you guys feel about like assists in versus games and like neutral and whatnot? I think they're cool for like extending combos, but I prefer like the actual, I guess, the core of the gameplay to not be so just assist heavy or whatever. If that makes any sense.
I get you.
Well, I mean, if we're talking just purely like assist moves or just
okay, common scenario is like beam assist, I run in behind it, right? It's like free full screen, right? Just whole block, baby. Like it feels cool to do it, but it's like, I don't know, I kind of...
Is it toxic gameplay? I don't think so.
I don't think it's toxic gameplay, no. But if we're talking about, I think this might have been kind of where I was going with off of Chris's statement. But it's like there are certain things you want in a game, like ideally, and it's kind of hard for like a game to strike the balance of, for instance, not having infinites, but also not implementing things like, say, Hitstun Decay or whatever, like negative mechanics. Ideally, I feel like you would want the same effect as raw assist, beam assist, full screen, run up, and not have block pressure. But I think like the execution in a lot of versus games are kind of like my least favorite part about like tag games.
The execution,
like the execution of like I guess like decision making. So like you're in neutral, I call on a beam assist, and I run in behind it. This is a stupid example, but it's just like the easiest one I can think of. So the idea there is like, okay, now I'm in a situation where I have pressure, right? And it's kind of just like off of a beam assist. Now, granted, there are situations in which you gotta have to set up for the assist. You can't necessarily just throw it out in neutral. You risk getting, happy birthday, etc. But I kind of like the aspect of, for instance, in Tekken Tag, since there's no assist, you're still playing at its like heart, the game of Tekken, and then you just kind of convert off of you use your tags and your assist to kind of convert. Instead of just winning an interaction, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I didn't lose my train of thought. I think that was like kind of like the last thing I wanted to mention here. I don't know if anyone else has any other closing thoughts. What is like their favorite game mechanic, I guess, for closing thoughts?
Their
favorite
game mechanic. I know what mine is, baby. I think it's beautiful. Roman cancels. I'm just gonna say it now. Strive is doing something interesting, or what? You got something? Were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say I like it for a stupid reason. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
not Roman canceled, but like the thing I'm thinking. The reason I'm thinking. So the mechanic I love is Street Fighter X Tekken's sacrifice
Oh, Pandora?
Yeah, sacrifice for more time on the clock. It's like,
I don't know what that. I don't play that game, but that sounds funny.
so basically, you know, if you're getting down to your last seconds and you're basic like you think you can win this fight, you can sacrifice your other person to get more time on the clock. Now, I don't feel like there's gonna be those big situations where you're like, bro, I gotta get this guy out, versus I'm gonna combo this dude to get him. It's like, I have to combo this person with my other dude. If I sacrifice him, then it's pretty much over.
Yo, that's the taunt to body yourself, dog. Honestly. No. What I like about Roman cancels is because, like, at its core, it's a really simple mechanic, but then, like, there are so many other applications around it about, like, making yourself safe, using it for pressure, using it to get out of things. But what's really cool is Guilty Gear Strive. It looks like they're adding, like, momentum to your Roman cancel, so you can, like, change the direction that you're going or carry the momentum of your last move while you're Roman canceling. This is kind of, it's not quite like DI necessarily, but it's kind of like, okay, I know this move is going to send you here, so let me, you know, shift my momentum with me and, you know, get a combo extension that maybe I normally wouldn't have been able to. And you can kind of do that in Xrd, right? Or you just freaking YRC or just purple RC and then, you know, dash, air dash out of it. But
Yeah.
this seems to be like a bit more like fluid and streamlined. I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how that is gonna affect the game itself. One more mechanic actually about Strive, since we're talking about it. I think, I could be wrong. Let me find the developer's backyard or whatever post. I think low key they announced fast falling is in the game. If you faultless defense, I think you land on the ground faster. I could be wrong. Let me see if I can find it. But if it is, I wonder if that's gonna make like instant overheads or like situations unreactable. Like on Oki, oh, I'm gonna air dash to you and then fast fall. Am I gonna overhead or am I gonna land with a low? I wonder if that's actually a thing. If that's gonna be something to look out for. Momo and Chris, you guys have any ideas? What's your favorite FGC or fighting game mechanic is?
Favorite mechanic.
Let me see if I can find this.
If I had to give a favorite mechanic for a fighting game, I really don't know.
Obligatory wave dashing mention.
Jeez.
Dude, I love. Okay, yeah. Is that really a mechanic? I guess.
It's totally a mechanic. It seems like it's likely unintentional originally, but it's a mechanic. It's like rocket jumping when that first started to be a thing. It was just a side effect of game systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I do love playing Hawkeye in
For the record, rocket jumping is my favorite video game mechanic of all time, but I know that's not what we're talking about.
We can brighten it up. We might as well. Rocket jumping is pretty fun.
Dude, it's so great. It's like a balance of movement with like health and ammo systems. You like take your three main systems for shooting games and you balance them all together to like open up decision making processes for where you want to be and how healthy you want to be doing that.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I feel about Halo 5, since we're going a little bit off here. Halo 5 is like the prime example of we didn't intend for any of this, aside from Melee, because there's like technically 1 or 2 frame links that you can implement in the game to like as like button combinations to get to different places. So pogo, what is it called? Not pogo jumping. I don't know why it escapes me the actual term. What is it called? I don't know. Spring jumping, that's what it is. So spring jumping has been in Halo for like ever, but in Halo 5 you have so many other like tools at your disposal. You can like boost, you can sprint, slide, whatever. If you combo all these things together, it allows you to like just like traverse the map in like multiple different ways that are most definitely unintentional, but it's like super cool. It kind of becomes like an oddly like technical combo heavy game in combination with like map movement and positioning. But seems like we're going a bit off here.
I figured it
Oh,
out.
you figured it out? Okay.
My favorite fighting game mechanic is FADC.
Oh, okay.
And if you don't know what that is, it is Street Fighter 4's focus attack dash cancel, where when you use a move, you can spend 2 bars of meter to cancel that move and either go backwards or forwards, dash back or dash forward, to either give yourself a more defensive or offensive pressure.
I can respect it. It's kind of like continue. Sorry, I didn't cut you off.
I was gonna say, yeah, in some ways, in some situations, you can create a checkmate situation, right? Where they only need the chip, so you do a fireball, FADC forward, and walk with it. So if they jump, you anti-air. If they block, then you know they die, right?
Yeah.
So it's a and if they try to do a move to get through it, well then you can hit them or just block their move and then punish. I think it's my I'm pretty sure it's my favorite mechanic for fighting games. Favorite mechanic, period. I don't know. There's a lot of like game mechanics that there's some things that I wanted to talk about, like Pokemon and its mechanics and what I liked about it, and there's a lot to like and a lot to hate nowadays.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of both.
I think probably my most hated mechanic is the timer. Not
just sacrifice your teammate and get him back. What you gotta do, baby?
Like can't see bye.
We got more time on the clock.
I'm not gonna say in fighting games because a timer in fighting games is absolutely needed. But I'm talking about like specifically Sword and Shield's game.
Yeah, timer. The 20-minute match timer is what you're going with, right?
Yes. So
you guys have something to say about this? Let's hear it.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Nintendo and Game Freak have been at very, very, very close ties with their competitive Pokemon counterpart. Right? They've been doing this since the 90s, since Pokemon came out. They've been doing competitive Pokemon tournaments. The problem that I see with it now in Sword and Shield is that they created a timer for all battles. Right? There's a 20-minute timer for all battles, to where that says when the timer's up, the battle is done, period.
Yeah, and it's always ticking through animations and through turns and everything.
Especially through like it goes through like if you try to Dynamax your Pokemon, you have to sit through that animation that eats up the time. If you're looking at like the situation and trying to figure out what the hell is gonna happen, it's taking up your time. It's gonna freaking
and it promotes some really toxic bullshit. And I don't say that lightly because I fucking hate the way people sling around the term toxic. I mean, it's fucking god awful.
Yeah, it really is.
It is not good.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny. Okay, we haven't even talked about Ultimate, which is actually kind of interesting to me, seeing as to how
we don't need to talk about Ultimate. What is there to talk about?
Is that sarcasm, or is that the game is perfect? And I hear
the game is not perfect. There's a lot to talk about. I think it's more of the fact that that the way that it's implemented, the way that they implemented all of the stuff that they do for it is not the greatest.
Like conceptually I think they were like on the right track, but they didn't quite stick the landing. Like for instance, I guess they wanted to maybe make the game, I don't know why they have the input delay that they do, but I guess it's maybe to make it be less reactable. So like you can't but
I was gonna say they wanted you to work. They wanted to, make it to where it's Super Smash Bros. Right? Anybody can pick it up and play it. But I feel like they wanted to make it to where you can essentially pick up the game without actually having to, worry about those things.
I think it's kind of interesting though. Like, I guess the buffer system was made maybe to cover up the shortcomings of the input delay by making, like, I guess the buffer a little bit more lenient. They thought, hey, say you're trying to react to something, but you react kind of late because, you know, there's like 6 or 7 frames of delay. We'll make the buffer system a little bit more, you know, lenient to kind of compensate for that. I think if that was the idea behind it, I think the reverse kind of happened, where you kind of get stuck in this weird loop or this weird cycle of implementing things at times when you're not trying to, like getting hit, and then or say you're like in neutral and you're trying to space a back air, and then you get hit, and then you get your forward air buffered because you end up getting turned around. I think like things like that were kind of like unintentional byproducts of the design they went with there.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, ideally though, I feel like Smash Ultimate, it's pretty good. It's just high level play kind of ruins the game, I think. But the game itself is fun. I like messing around with it, but playing optimally, I don't know. That being said, I can't find the developer's backyard that I was looking for Guilty Gear, so there's that. Yeah. I think we more or less kind of covered all the topics. We've been going for almost about an hour now. Don't really think there's anything else anybody really wants to bring up, unless you guys have some last words. Want to plug anything? Plug your channels.
I will say after this, I'll probably be streaming some Divinity Original Sin 2 on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/themomoari. It is definitely it's gonna be some fun because the friends I'm playing with currently are nothing but chaos.
Pure chaos.
Yeah.
Dude, so that's gonna be over there on Twitch for you boys who want to peep that. Anybody else have anything? Chris, you want to plug your art stuff?
You know, at Twitter at Shrimp Chris or whatever, you know.
Renzu and Moro at work. Let's get it. Me too, dog.
Man, I ain't got nothing to plug.
I will say I am primarily a FGC player. I play Dragon Ball Fighters on Wednesdays, Them's Fighting Herds on Tuesdays. I'm trying to fit in more for Saturday, Sunday, but currently, if you go to my channel, you can check out my my schedule. And just know like when be in the know, you know.
Alrighty, cool. Well, guys, every 5 o'clock Thursdays we'll be doing this Hitstun podcast, so be sure to tune in for that. This Sunday we're having our Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament. Ooh, if you guys wanna peek into that, here, let me. Oh God, where's my mouse? There you go. Bracket has just now been made. I'll link that in the description, the chat, and all that. If anyone wants to go ahead and dip their toes into that. Those are going to be Sunday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. That's the time that everything goes down. So if you guys want to peep that out, join the stream, join the Discord. I'll have the Discord link as well. Thanks for watching, boys and girls, and catch you all laters. Bye.